Hi everybody! It's been a really long time since I've done a video blog or actually blogging of any sort. It's been a really busy couple of months since Christmas time between work and just family stuff and other things that are going on. I have been working on doing some drafting of a couple of new projects, but today I actually wanted to share some resources that I came across that have to do with kind of plotting out your story. My local RWA chapter, Carolina Romance Writers, has had some fantastic workshops the past few months about plotting, different techniques to do so, at planning, kind of figuring out your writer's life. And even though I have a series under my belt, it's still been really helpful and refreshing my understanding of some different techniques and figuring out some new things that will work for me. I am historically a pantser, and since getting my contract with Soulmate Publishing for my Sweet Something series, I kind of had to learn to be a bit more of a plotter, because when you have a certain time frame that you need to have a book done in, you kind of have to figure out how to get that book written a lot faster than if you're just a pantser. So I've kind of been doing some different techniques. I was relying a lot on the idea of how the hero's journey archetype is set up, which is a fantastic place to start because a lot of books do follow the hero's journey archetype, and there's tons of resources out there that you can use that go along with that particular style of writing. What I found, and actually it was recommended in one of the workshops I went to, and I'd heard of it before but never picked it up, was a little book called Romancing the Beat. It's by Gwen Hayes. It's a very small little volume. I purchased the paperback because I wanted to actually have the physical book, so I can write in it and everything. I think it ran me about $5, $6 on Amazon. They do also have it available for Kindle. I don't know if it's available for the Nook because I don't use that platform. But what this basically does is it takes a look at the basic structure of a romance novel. There are certain things that have to be included in a romance novel. Obviously the happily ever after, but there are other elements that are typically included as well. And if you're familiar with the hero's journey, Romancing the Beat does have some very similar points throughout the storyline that kind of seem like they coincide. It's just a little bit more geared toward the romance genre in particular. And the other book that I picked up that no one really recommended it, I kind of came across it. It's called Romance Tropes and Hooks by Karen Winter. This also was about, I want to say maybe about $7 on Amazon for the paperback. And what this basically is, we all know that there's different tropes in writing, and tropes can be both good and bad depending on how you use them. And when you're writing a story, you do kind of want to have some familiarity for your reader as far as types of characters, settings, and so on. But one of the things that we often hear a lot about as writers, especially aspiring writers, is to make yourself stand out by putting a twist on the tropes. But this is really handy because it's basically an alphabetical guide where you can look up everything from character tropes to settings to plot hooks and so on. And it's set up alphabetically, so if you turn to the page where it says A, it starts right away with abandoned groom, abduction, and so on. It goes right down through in alphabetical order, and it gives you ideas for alternate twists, or it does give some ideas for twists on this or other types of tropes that connect to the trope you're looking at. And I'm finding it really useful because I want to try to take some of those typical tropes and figure out a way to twist them and kind of make them my own, make them original, so it's not the same story. So I think if you're an aspiring writer, that can be very helpful. And if you're a veteran writer, maybe finding yourself sort of maybe in a little bit of a rut, kind of finding yourself writing the same kind of story all the time, that might be a really good place to go and get some new ideas for ways to change up the tropes a little bit that are in your stories. So those are two really cool little resources that I've come across recently. And I do recommend, as I've said this before in my blog, that if you have the opportunity to join a writers community, whether it's an RWA chapter or even just a writing group, definitely take advantage of it, because getting the chance to have access to that networking and those resources can be so helpful, and you won't feel like you're doing all of this in a vacuum. You'll have people that you can connect with that have similar issues as you, have had experiences in the past with what you are dealing with, and they can be great resources and fonts of advice for you. If you are a writer, keep writing, and definitely check out if you think that those resources might be helpful to you. If you are if you are a reader, again, keep reading. Awesome. We want you to buy her books. If you're out there looking for some new ideas for what to do for your writing, then those are some great resources to take a look at. There is some stuff going up with me as far as things I'm going to be involved in over the next couple of months. So keep an eye on the blog, or you can sign up for my email newsletter to keep in the loop on things. And hopefully, as I finish the drafting process of my most recent projects, hopefully I'll have some really awesome news to share sometime in the near future about potential future book contracts. So that's always the goal for us writers. If you are a writer, happy writing. If you're a reader, happy reading. And I'll see you all next time.